Greetings. I wanted to answer the question, what is ascension? Because that question is going around. Um, Ascension is a normal biological process that is a spiritual maturation, much like puberty, which we go through when we're not quite full-grown physical specimens of humankind. The ascension process is part of our spiritual development. It's part of our spiritual maturation process that's coded in the DNA. It is time coded to awaken us to higher levels of being. The word ascension actually comes from the fact that your life force energy, your consciousness, ascends up the spinal column. Now, a lot of the mystery schools know about this. Secret societies know about this, why you have the 33 and a half steps of Freemasonry. That is dealing with the vertebrae in the spine, that there is a process that happens when life force or consciousness rises up the spine. This is also symbolized in the catechist, in the tree of life, across traditions all across the world. Even the Mormons say, hold to the iron rod, which is symbolic also of the straight and narrow path of the spine, just one straight and narrow. The eye of the needle is also speaking about this as you get down to the very central channel where life force or God consciousness, you can also say this is where God consciousness arises in our being. So what happens is there is a process that's been known in the East for millennia that is also termed a Kundalini awakening. So an ascension process has many awakenings, or as many names. Even in the Bible, you hear of someone having an awakening experience where they were struck by the light of God, or they had a moment of complete change of heart. These are indicative of someone's Kundalini awakening. So an awakening in this way means your lower mind, that which just was regular ego mind functioning on a day-to-day level, aware of just mundane things, suddenly gets a new perspective on life. In the East, they say your life force energy shoots up the spine, pierces all the subtle spinal channel chakras, and the third eye is open. The pineal gland has become active, and you are able to see life from a new perspective. You are able to see that which you could not see before. The veils have been lifted, so to speak. So once that happens, that is an ascension, that's an awakening. So awakening precedes an ascension process. Then what happens is that life force energy has to go down and clean house. So that literally means the life force is now moving through the subtle vortexes in your body that have accumulated data, have accumulated energy. It goes into the DNA and says, what patterns have been running here? I haven't been aware of it before, but I'm aware of it now. So this has been a movement the last few years, coinciding with this whole global lockdown situation. There has been, as many have termed, the Great Awakening. The Great Awakening is a massive worldwide Kundalini awakening. So the whole world became aware of reality on a different level. Okay, that was a DNA activation. The DNA was activated, coded, if you will, time coded for 2020, perfect vision, to receive a new vision, to receive clarity, to see things differently. And then after that awakening period, and everyone's awakening period is staggered based on that individual person. So some awaken sooner, some are yet to awaken, and some awakened decades ago to pave the way for others to awaken. So anytime someone awakens, that templates it in the world grid so that more people have access to it. As soon as they awaken, they suddenly have access to all the information. That's how the Akasha works of the world grid. So that means your DNA, which is light codes, then has access to light or to intelligence, to the higher intelligence of the planet. So just like when someone figures out a formula, suddenly that formula is available in the collective mind, right? So more people awaken, the more that awakening energy is present, the information associated with getting a bigger picture is available. So, and with the web, information travels so fast that now one person figures something out and a bunch of people know, right? So ascension literally refers to how much that you can embody. Okay, you can learn, you can see the bigger picture, you can know what needs to be done that you weren't doing in your life before. That's associated with the chakras. The chakras have to do with the way you look at the world. They're your lens through which you look at the world and the consciousness with which you approach any basic situation, from survival all the way up to, inspiration and intuitive capacity. So the more life force you can hold in your body, which also means the more of the light of God you can hold, the more of the love of God that you can hold, then that means that the more you have ascended in the flesh. So as soon as you can hold compassion for humanity while knowing the truth and also loving all parts, so this is part of integration work, the positive and negative polarities, then your consciousness ascends up the channels of the spine. That means it pierces the chakras, it permeates that part of your life and allows you to function from a Christed state, if you will. This is the path that Jesus Christ laid down. He showed how to walk the path of ascension. So everything he was doing, he's saying, come on, you can do it too. You can see all people through the eyes of compassion. You can say no to certain situations that are not in alignment with the highest truth, clear the temple, so to speak. And you can surrender when surrender is needed. You can overcome death, and even Jesus Christ said the last enemy to overcome or to conquer is death. So we are at a very big time right now in the world. Big's a funny word to use, but it's a very potent time. We're at what you could call a death gate. We've been in it for some time. In your own awakening process, that's called the dark night of the soul. You've probably heard that. It's a death gate. It's a passage. It's associated with the second chakra, which is associated with water and our ancestors and all that has come before. And it's mucky water. It's dealing with all the muck that's been under the surface, in the subconscious, in the watery depths, and is asking us to clear the water, so to speak, to clear up our relations, to get right with ourselves and others, to cross the river Styx, if you will, the metaphor, from the hellish existence where a lot of stuff's going down, both internally and externally, that we don't like. But, ascension means that we purify everything we see. So we see everything out there and we find its reflection in here and we purify ourselves. So ascension is an internal process that affects the outside world so much because we change our blueprint to be in alignment with our divine blueprint. And there's a lot of things that are vying for your divine blueprint right now. A lot of things that want to keep you from accessing to the fullness of your DNA. And the main protection that you have against that is your mind. Your mind is the main protectant against altering your DNA without your permission. So when you have conscious, let's say, guardianship over your DNA. And that means you're caretaking your words, your action, your thoughts, what you're putting in your body. You're not just being like, yeah, put anything in my body. And you're not like, oh yeah, that garbage that someone said, I believe that. You're caretaking. This is like pristine temple space, right? Your body is your temple. You've heard that before. So it's very important that we caretake what comes in our temple because that's also affecting our DNA. And our DNA has the codes of ascension. It has the pattern through which we ascend through spiritual maturation to a higher mind, a different dimension of living where we can participate in a new heaven and a new earth. The earth is also ascending, but some people will experience the earth's dark night of the soul for a long time until their personal ascension can align with the ascension of the earth. We all get as much time as we need to experience it, but sometimes we have to cycle again and again to get through it because we just get like lost in the maze of the dark night. So ascending is bringing both polarities. And this is funny because we have this whole transgenderism movement going on right now that's like demanding that people recognize someone as a different gender, or all of this. Okay, I'm going to suggest that everyone is just not aware that your masculine and your feminine nature, which is what makes up your wholeness. You have a right brain and a left brain, right? Right brain is more creative, intuitive, you know, all that. That's a feminine quality. And that doesn't mean woman. That doesn't mean you're feminine, like you're effeminate or anything. That's what is referred to as a feminine quality, receptive. Masculine left brain, which by the way governs your right side of your body, vice versa, right? That's more logical mind, structure, mathematics, you know, like progression, linearity. That is considered a masculine quality, and we both have both. So we're only a whole human, a whole awakened, ascended human when we integrate both polarities. That doesn't mean I change my bodily anything. I'm a woman because I have a female body and I have the chromosomes that go with that. I can't alter those. Our genes can be messed with though by thought patterns, brainwashing, substances, all of this. Okay, but as long as I caretake my mind and I love the whole me, that's an integration process. I love my logical mind. I listen to it. I also listen to my intuition equally together. I allow myself to be both creative and, you know, like follow the rules when I need to, if it makes sense, you know, like that's the way that I don't want to get a, you know, desk from IKEA and then just use my creativity to put it together. I'm going to probably not end up with the desk that I want. So there's times for our creative mind. I also don't want to get down to an art paper with a bunch of paint and then start being super like looking at a book as to how to draw, unless I'm just training myself, right? The art comes through surrendering to that flow, the muse within. Well, that's your right and left brain working together. That's your masculine, feminine. And ascension means you have both. And they're working together, just like the positive and negative poles of a battery. A battery does not work if you only have a positive pole. You cannot plug something in if you don't have masculine and feminine parts of the plug. If you only have a masculine hole or feminine hole, but no masculine plug to go in, nothing's getting plugged in. So we're the same way. We're a circuitry. We're magnetic, electrical. We're both. But we need those natures harmonized, just like we need our breath to be even. We need our heartbeat to be even. We need the exchange of oxygen and, you know, release of toxins in our body to be even, or we get sick, or we, you know, have an ailment or something. If the body is imbalanced in any way, we're out of homeostasis, we move toward dis-ease. So that's a descent. And descend far enough and you're in the grave, right? So if you want to go to heaven, so to speak, if you want to bring your soul up and to its highest potentiality, where you would see the face of God because you'd be resonating in likeness with God consciousness, compassion, love, justice, discernment, truth. These are all qualities of a strong, integrative, ascended being. You know, ascended being takes self-responsibility. An ascended being sees that in you, what I see in you is first in me. I can't point to the mote in your eye if I don't realize I've got a beam in my own eye, because that mote in your eye is just a reflection of the beam in my eye. So take care of the beam here first. So ascension is taking self-responsibility, ascending above the lower mind to the higher mind, to the Christed mind, the awake, the Buddha within. So that's what ascension is in a nutshell. There's a lot of symptoms of ascension that I won't go over all here, but a lot of them look, you guys, like these viruses that are running around, because your body is doing a massive cleanup. You're detoxing. You might feel really bad. You might ache. You might have chills. You might see things. You might feel kind of crazy. You might have a lot of emotions coming out as you're detoxing these subtle centers that have been carrying patterns and beliefs and traumas and all this for not only your lifetime, but generations. You know, the sins of the fathers are carried down on the children until the child decides to do the work and clear that up and take self-responsibility. So if you have more questions about that, I've got other videos on this channel, hopefully will help, or you can email me directly, stageofbliss@gmail.com, or just ask a question down below and I will make a video. All right, I hope this has helped. My studies have been in the East a lot. I mean, the Eastern traditions, especially in India, have dealt with spiritual awakening symptoms for all of time. That's actually what their culture was set up for. So there's ashrams around to help people when they're in this process, because sometimes you can feel a bit nutso when you're going through this. So ascension doesn't look really pretty necessarily. It can be really challenging and difficult. So I'm a coach of such, a spiritual awakening guide. I've been through the process, and it's not just a one-time process, guys. It's layer by layer, line upon line, precept on precept, peeling back to reach your state of pure divine self, buried under all this programming and things that we've been taught and given in this world. So it's a beautiful process, but it is challenging at times. And so if I can be of assistance, that's what I'm here for. And otherwise, just know that you were built for this. It's in your makeup. Just do your best to protect that divine temple that you are, and not allow this temple to be defiled or to be told that you're not worth it, because you are. Okay, this is Stasia Bliss. Thanks for joining me.